Hey everyone, this is Laura. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my approach of running Amazon ads after spending thousands on my books. I've also made a lot of beginners mistakes, including having people on Fiverr to run my account, and they always promise me low BSR, low ACOS, and in fact that never even happened. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you my approach to run my bestseller in a very competitive niche. I will also explain to you about the misconception on Amazon ads that many beginners should know about this before you even actually make a book. Anyways, without further ado, let's dive in. The number one biggest mistake that most beginners make is actually running ads without optimize your listing. Guys, just imagine or pretend you're a restaurant for a minute, right? If the food in your restaurant is so bad, then why would customers wanting to pay for the food or even come through the door, right? Use the same logic for your Amazon book listing, right? If your book is not relevant, is not interesting, is not just simply people are not searching for it, right? Why would people actually click on your book? Or maybe they click on the book, then click away. So the first thing first, optimize your listing. How do you go ahead and do that then? Well, number one or step one is to obviously being in the right niche. Remember, the higher the competition, the higher the cost per click. And unfortunately, this just happened to be in the coloring books and puzzle book niche. Why? Obviously because due to lower barrier to entry, because you can simply very easily make these kind of books. So the more people are bidding for this kind of keywords, right? Same keywords, the higher you have to bid to outbid your competition, especially for new books, right? So you've got to be prepared to be willing to pay at least 80 cents or $1 for the main keyword for your book, right? This also happens in cookbooks because in this niche actually has a lot of celebrity authors and they have big publishers to help them publish books on Amazon. So they have the budget to spend, right? So be careful with cookbooks. And you also want to check out the demand for your product, right? And I understand that as a beginner, most of you probably just going to, based on your logic, right? You're going to make a book, right? Because you think it's interesting, right? But what about for the general population? Do people actually care or do they actually need this kind of book that you just made, right? So make sure, number one, to check out demand on Amazon, okay? And also very important to check out Google Trends. People seem to forget about that. When people search for something on Google, most likely, at least in the US, they're going to come over to Amazon to purchase that product or the book. And also remember, don't forget Reddit. Reddit is a platform where people rant about the problem. So you can actually find out a lot about people's pain points because they rant, then you know what's it going to be, what kind of problem you're trying to solve, and also YouTube. So if you're actually trying to check out the demand for a particular book or a particular niche, if you're doing research on Amazon, you might as well just do all four platforms just to give yourself a general sense, right? And also, don't forget to check out the bestseller in your niche. Super important. If the bestseller already capped the price of your book, let's say $9.99, right? Coco Wild, remember, $9.99. You as a new book, you're gonna have to, obviously price lower compared to your bestseller, right? And also think about it. What is going to be your unique selling point? If your unique selling point is solving a more relevant or more relatable problem or more updated problem, yes, of course, you stand a chance to actually beat the current bestseller because whatever they're doing here in the title, subtitle, whatever, right, it's already solving the problem, guess what, in the past, right? So think about your unique selling point and of course the number of reviews that the bestseller has, right? So these two factors, just make a note here. So if you're a beginner that you're actually having difficulties looking for your niche, then I recommend you using BookBeam, or you can just simply search on Amazon. But BookBeam is a lot easier and very beginner friendly, very fast research that you can quickly figure out what is going to be the right niche for you. And the bottom line here for the right niche here is to obviously pick a niche that makes sense to you, right? Always think about the ad cost versus royalty. Step 2 is the title and subtitle. Guys, this will further help Amazon to understand basically what your book is all about. Super important step, but it's going to be very hard to master. But there are a few things that you can do to help you rank your book. Number one is to understand there are only 200 characters in your book title. basically, if you have a book title that's too long, it's going to be like this, right? So you don't want that. You want your customers to easily identify your book, and always front load your main keywords, because even if someone has an attention span like a goldfish, right? When they see your main keywords in the main title, right, they'll know this kind of book is actually for them. I'll give you an example, right? Keto diet cookbook for beginners, right? Keto diet cookbook, right? That's a keyword, right? So it's actually for a particular diet, and it's a cookbook for who? For beginners, right? So if, let's say I just started a keto diet, I know this book is for me because it's going to be very easy to understand, right? And also here is your value proposition. 500 easy low carb recipes, right? So exactly, if someone who's looking for this kind of book, they know that's what they're looking for. They don't even have to look for the rest of whatever the subtitle you have, right? They just know that this could be the book I'm interested. They're going to click on your book, and then that's how you actually draw the attention of your customers to your book listing. You don't want to have all these fancy words, whatever things in your main title. Just be very super clear. You almost like you want to be a sniper. You want to be super targeted to your particular audience. So make sure you put your main title in the main keyword. Step 3 is to invest some money in a professional book cover. Guys, I understand a lot of you guys probably do your book cover on Canva because you listen to someone on YouTube, okay? I'm not going to name anybody, but investing in a book cover is going to help you or convert sales much easier. A professional book cover really does the job, okay? But there are a few things that you need to remember here. Number one, Amazon has a white background, okay? So you obviously don't want to have a white cover on a white background. It's going to be very difficult for people to actually, see your cover or draw attention to your potential customers, right? So the key point here is if everybody in your niche is actually using, let's say, a red cover, then you might want to do something opposite, right? Maybe use green or use blue, right? You get the point, okay? And also, please do not use the same color on the book cover. For example, if you have a black cover, okay, you don't want to have a black font or gray font or blue font. You want to make sure that your customers can easily read the title and subtitle. So basically grab their attention immediately, okay? And you also want to, let's say if you have an image on the book cover, right? You want to make sure that the image actually helps to tell the story about your book. Say, for example, that the short stories for seniors niche, right, which I covered in the last video, right? Most of these guys in this niche have the cartoon cover, right? But then if you think about it, your audience or your demographic is going to be senior people. Why would they want to have a cartoon cover, right? That doesn't make much sense. Well, instead, actually, if you want to stand out from all these guys, you probably want to do or use a real stock image on the cover, right? Just to tell people, hey, I'm actually writing a book. I actually have a product that's super relevant, relatable to the demographic in this niche. And whoever buys this book will understand immediately, okay? And also make sure to have the visual hierarchy of the font on your cover. This is going to be super important to pick the color that's the contrasting color to tell your audience or potential customers what your book is all about. Guys, a bad cover is not going to help you anywhere in this process, okay? You want to have a super highly convertible covers to reduce your ACOS, and definitely make sure to invest in the professional quality cover that is going to help you supercharge your Amazon KDP sales. Step 4 is to write a compelling book description and also your A+ content. Guys, I understand this is hard for many beginners, and most of you probably will pay someone on Upwork or Fiverr and charge you like, I don't know, $100, $200 to help you write a book description. This thing happens. But you know what? You can actually take care of all this yourself. You need to understand a few key points, all right? Number one, your book description, the message needs to be super emotionally triggering to almost trigger people's impulse buying. You want to front load your FOMO message, actually the pain point of your customers, before they read more, the click. I understand that. I'm sure you understand what that is, right? So there are a couple of sentences or paragraphs you can, before they read more, that's where people actually read. And hardly anybody will click read more to further read the entire book description. So this is super important to front load your FOMO message or the pain point of your potential customers right at the beginning. just so that people understand, oh, so this is actually further what this book is all about, right? Then they're gonna just say, hey, click, add to cart, then buy, okay? Super important. Also, the book description, you have 4,000 characters in total to tell Amazon what your book is all about. So make sure you use this space efficiently, right? You can further include as many keywords that's relevant as possible about your book, and you tell Amazon what your book is all about, right? This will help you rank organically. And also remember, the A+ content is another chance for you to further convey the message to Amazon what your book is all about. And also you can include the visual. That's very, very powerful to your potential customers. So when people are actually emotionally triggered, and then they see the actual image that's even more emotional triggering, what are they gonna do? They're just going to buy, okay? That's how you can supercharge yourself, by simply master the book description and also the A+ content part. It's going to be hard, it takes time to practice, but this is what you need to do. Step 5 and 6 is going to be the 7 backend keywords and also the number of reviews you have for your book. And I understand a lot of you are probably simply putting the whatever keyword that you already have in your title and subtitle into the 7 backend keyword boxes. Guys, please don't do that, okay? This is your other chance to tell Amazon what your book is all about. So you want to make sure to use the space efficiently. Here you can actually put the relevant keywords that's related or highly relatable to either your book or your customer profile into the 7 backend keyword boxes. For example, if your book is about diabetes, okay, so what you can put here is going to be low carb diet, low sugar diet, okay, low salt diet, or sometimes even weight loss, okay? You get the point. Basically, these are the search terms that your customers care about. They're obviously naturally going to search for these kind of terms, right? So you help Amazon understand what your book is all about. On the front end, okay, Amazon is going to help you out. Further, put your book in front of the relevant customers, and that's going to help you naturally, organically drive down the ACOS of your Amazon ads. Not just do some like fancy tricks, but basically do all these fundamental steps correctly. That's going to supercharge your Amazon sales, all right? And also remember the number of reviews that you have. I highly recommend you have at least 50 to 100 reviews. This is super, super important, because the higher social proof or the higher the number of reviews, you're actually telling your customers, hey, I actually have a really, really good book. And that is going to further help them make the purchase decision, okay? So for review service, I highly recommend Book Bounty. They're great. And they're also going to give you secure, fast, verified purchase review. That's super important in Amazon's perspective, right? Review actually counts towards the indexing points. So you actually want to make sure you do this step correctly and properly. So the backend keywords and also a number of reviews is going to basically lower the ACOS organically for you on Amazon, okay? That's going to further reduce the cost of running Amazon ads. All right, guys, so now you've finally taken care of everything on the front end. You're ready to run Amazon ads. Unfortunately, though, this is some misconception among beginners that you guys think, hey, I'm just simply going to make a book and list it on Amazon and spend some money on Amazon ads and collect some reviews. It's just going to help me list the book, just like that. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like this. But if you actually just follow the steps listed in the video today, it's going to help Amazon, number one, understand what your book is all about. It's also going to help you rank organically, help your customers to identify or find your book much easier compared to if you just simply run ads and bid super high to your book, right? Amazon ads is super, super efficient, and just treat it as an icing on the cake. And it's your job as a self-publisher to give Amazon a super nice cake. So you and Amazon, you guys are a team, okay? Make sure that you provide good stuff to Amazon, so Amazon in return can put icing on your cake, okay? And then once you've done all the steps, then you can go ahead and create a campaign in your Amazon ads dashboard, okay? Personally, I will run fixed bids. I always prefer fixed bids compared to down only or auto bids, especially at the beginning when you're just simply launching your book, because you want to tell Amazon, hey, this is what my book is all about. My keyword is da-da-da, okay? So you put fixed bids. That's like a sniper approach, super targeted to the relevant customers. Whereas when you put down only, it's like hey, you're telling or signaling to Amazon, right? You're not sure about your book, okay? Even though it saves a bit of money, but in the beginning, you want to train the algorithm to understand what your book is all about. And please, I used up and down once. It was chaotic, so I never used again. So fix base at the beginning to both your keyword and product campaign, and when your book is actually launched after you gather certain number of reviews, sometimes 200, 300, your book has been ranking on Amazon for quite some time, and you know that your organic sales is bigger than your ad sale. That's when you can actually choose down only and even run auto ads to begin with, okay? So, but at the beginning, I never use auto ads. It's just going to be like, you're telling Amazon, hey, I leave my book in your hand. You go ahead and find the customers, which sometimes it can be super dangerous. So these steps in the video today are actually going to help you lower your ACOS organically and also help you rank even further because you're actually combining the skills that you learned today, working together with Amazon to actually supercharge your sales. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. If you just follow these steps, you should be in a very good position to start running Amazon ads. Always remember the restaurant example and always know that Amazon wants you to make a sale so they can make a sale as well. It's not that Amazon ads don't work or Amazon is against you, but always remember, before you run ads, make sure you already have a very good cake to give it to Amazon so you can put icing on your cake. Anyways, guys, if you like today's content, make sure to subscribe, drop me a like, and leave me any comments if you have so I can get to your comments in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.